Happy Monday and welcome to the Emotion Room. We're touching base on Manchester United defeating Man City on what is a performance that I've probably not seen from my team in over 14 months, over 16 months. Absolutely unbelievable and something I was not expecting. Touching base on the best number 10 in the world, Bruno Fernandes. I've been saying it for months. I've been calling the man a legend for months. I'll be getting stick for calling him that, but he steps up once again to show how valuable he is to Manchester United. We're also going to touch base on Scholes and the comments they made on Martínez and Martínez biting back. Was it right? Was it wrong? Also touch base on Roy Keane and how hard he's been on the coaching staff, how hard he's been on Carrick, even going after Carrick's wife 12 years later after she gave Roy Keane stick. So a lot to get through. Thanks for joining us. Please like, subscribe. Please follow Dan Talks United, who's here with me today. How are you, Dan? How do you feel after this weekend's result, mate? Go for it.
Carrick at the wheel. Come on, let's go.
No.
It's Carrick, No, I'm joking. No, but to be fair, it was, I mean, I wasn't expecting it. So like I said in my preview before the match, I wasn't expecting us to win the game, if I'm honest. I didn't know what I was going to get from these boys because I don't think we've seen a new coach bounce in a long time. It feels anyway, because I don't think we've got one under Amorim. I've said that before. And there's been a couple of coaches before that just don't feel like we've got that bounce really from them. So I weren't sure what we're going to expect. And also because he had a couple of days off, then come into training until Wednesday. That was his first day with them. So he pretty much had, 3 days coaching with the new coaching staff and himself and the players. So quite surprised to see that performance, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I mean, I've not seen. Sorry to cut you off. I know you're going to go.
No?
I've not seen a performance like that from my team, our team, since maybe the FA Cup final under Ten Hag, maybe.
Yeah.
But even then, I would argue that this performance was even better than that. I mean, honestly, we played them. I mean, when I say played them off the park, I mean we just looked dangerous every time we got the ball. I mean, I've seen some passages of play, possession, one-touch football, back. I mean, I'm just.
Where's it been? Where's it been?
We call this the emotion room. I swear to you, mate. I almost had a tear in my eye when that Mbumo goal went in. Just the football, the way it was. It's just,
the lead up to it. Yeah.
I don't know, Dan. I don't know. It's just crazy. I don't know how to explain it, mate. But carry on. Sorry.
No, it's difficult. I mean, like you say, I think this is where you've talked about the emotion room and saying it sounded better in your head. But these are the sort of things that makes this title make sense, because this team can take you from pillar to post. It can have your highs, it can have the lows. It's like you're on a roller coaster with this team. I've said this for a while. But again, I'm just in a little bit of shock in regards to how they've responded, how they've played. And I think I've probably said it to you in messages that I don't think this was just a bounce. So I sort of jokingly called it the interim coach bounce. But I don't think it's, even that's like bouncing around itself. But I don't think it was just a bounce. And I may be getting carried away here, and it's one game. And David, you'll have to drag me back in, because I think even speaking to Alex as well, Football Brotherhood, he was saying the same. Let's get him signed up. But joking aside, I think I saw other things in there in amongst the bounce. So obviously set him up tactically brilliantly in the sense of it wasn't anything fantastic. It wasn't Pep-esque. It wasn't Enrique-esque. But it was just simple.
I mean, before you carry on there, sorry to say.
No.
Ollie had Pep's number big time, right?
Yes.
And there's been a lot of talk this week. It just all came to fruition, right? Man United DNA. What is Man United DNA? Everyone was kind of mocking it. Whoever brought it up, there was always a comeback. What are you talking about DNA? If there was one manager that we've had since post Alex Ferguson, since Pep Guardiola took over, obviously, that's given Man City a run for their money and a spanking from time to time, it was Ollie. It was that counter-attacking style of play, literally getting that ball and running in numbers. And Carrick's gone and done it, you know?
Yeah.
And yes, that is Man United DNA, just running, desperate to get a
Mm.
goal, desperate to get on the end of things. Dan, I've not seen it for 16, 17 months. And I know I don't want to talk about Amorim. I know I don't want to bring this guy up, but I've put him in the title, you know? This guy, was he poison? What the hell was he? I did not see a performance like this under this man. Not once. No one could tell me they saw anything like this. But I don't want to spend time on Amorim. I mean, what do you think? What did Carrick get right? What was it? Was it the Man United DNA? Did he give them a big speech? What did he change tactically? Did you spot anything? I mean,
I think it's a combination of everything. I think initially it's because I think a couple of players have said the same. It's come in. I think he's respected. I think Bruno was saying the same. At the end of the day, this guy's a legend. The way he played football, underrated. We know that Carrick's underrated, and you have to watch football in a certain way to understand how Carrick played football, because he didn't do step overs, he didn't do drag backs, he didn't do Cruyff turns. It were controlled football with nice passing. It was conducting football. So it's like when you watch an orchestra and you see the person doing the conduct, you think, what are they doing? But it's this guy's guiding the team in the direction that it needs to be, and he listens. So when he's come in here, I think he's set the tone straight away, and he said, I'm going to reset, not the culture, that's probably a bit too extreme, but I want to reset the standard in the sense of you need to fight for each other, you need to run for each other. You need to outplay the other team. You need to outfight the other team. And I think it was just simple things like that, where he's probably been in the ear of individuals where he knows he can get a little bit more out of them. So like Mano, for example, I know you'd said something about Mano in a few shows before. And again, it's only one game, but he played out of his skin. He played back to the way that I've seen him play before. And I think the slight sort of tactical things I saw was more about making it simple, but obviously, even in the attacking phase, and it's that sort of 4-2-4 sort of formation where you've got the two sitting, Casemiro and Mano, and then you've got four attackers. So you've got Dorgu, you've got Mbeumo, you've got Bruno, you've got Ahmad on the other side, and every time they pinch the ball, they're just attacking like we used to see Rooney, Ronaldo, and Tevez used to do. And I think it was just little things like that, but the thing that I was more impressed with is more the off-ball stuff. So if you look at the possession stats, it looks like City battered
totally,
but we controlled that game off the ball. So we dictated which way
where it was going.
So
yes,
if City
100%.
wanted to play through the middle, we stopped them passing lanes and we were forcing them wide. So it was all on Doku and Foden to do the sort of wide play, and they couldn't do it. Foden got taken off at half time. Cherky, who said he was going to murder us. He did nothing either. We stifled him apart from Dallo and that.
That's all been going round, isn't it? That Cherky thing. He said,
he looks like an idiot.
He was gutted the way we beat him against Leon, and he can't wait to smash us. And
he might do it one day, but he didn't do it this weekend.
He didn't do it this weekend. No. For me,
but apart from Dallo and that tackle where he probably should have been sent off, defensively, we played a really good game. And another thing, just quickly before you take over, is that it's just how, if it wasn't Bruno squeezing Rodri, it was Mano squeezing Rodri. So Rodri's the conductor for Man City. We all know that. They was tight on him to the point where he didn't have much space to turn, and he had to just keep going wide all the time. And we just stifled him down the sides. And Dorgu was a good defender anyway. We know that. And Ahmad is built up his defensive capabilities, so he played a blinder as well in defence. So it was almost like they were both wing backs, just up and down, but just absolutely attacking them, and it was just beautiful to see, which was very shocking. But
it's kind of funny you mentioned that. Actually, Ahmad's obviously been under Amorim for 14 months. Playing as a right wing back, so he's had to up his defensive game.
Of course, yeah.
And now Carrick coming in and defense not being a huge factor of what he has to do. Part of it, of course, you defend as a team, right? But not a massive responsibility. It's funny how just practicing it for 14 months has made him a better player all around. So it's crazy, isn't it? You can knock managers for certain systems, but then you could argue that I've just called the man poison a few seconds ago, but you could argue that he's improved Ahmad as an all-around player in another system. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah. And one really quick thing as well is he's got to be praised, I suppose, to get the team to a sort of conditional level, because they've taken 2 days off. and they looked fit against
Mm.
City, and they were all over them. Don't get me wrong, I know City didn't play the best themselves, but we were all over them. So
Yeah,
did he get them to a nice conditioning point of view? I don't know.
that's a valid point. The team looked fit, and when Amorim took over, they were very unfit, right?
Yeah,
So yes, again, I reiterate, I called Amorim poison a minute ago, but that's because he didn't deliver not one of these performances. Not one of these performances.
yeah,
I mean, come on, mate. Like I said, the last performance that had me feeling this way, like a tear in my eye, like the old Man United is back, was the FA Cup final under Ten Hag.
yeah.
And even then it weren't as good as this, like I said earlier.
No,
But one thing I do want to say is so many managers, that includes Amorim, even Jose Mourinho to an extent, Ten Hag definitely, they seem to highlight our weaknesses. They like set up the team where our weaknesses show. Whereas I
yeah,
feel like Carrick and Ollie have both. I'm not saying Ollie was a successful manager for us, right? Jose
yeah,
Mourinho won trophies for us and done a lot for us. But
yeah,
I'm talking about just the way we were playing football for a second, yeah?
yeah,
They would set us up for our strengths. Does that make sense?
yeah.
To to be fast paced, to get in behind, to be counter attacking. And
Mm,
where we would get caught out under these managers are when we would come up against low blocks, we would need something special to break teams down. I'd rather that, Dan. I'd rather that and try and, improve your personnel and get something special against the low block
yeah,
than not be able to attack any time in any
yeah,
games.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Do you get what I'm trying to say? I kind of went
yeah,
round
yeah.
the
Of course,
block
yeah,
to
yeah.
say it
Oh
there,
no, no.
but I just feel like for once we were set up for our strengths and not our
Yeah,
weaknesses, if you know what I
yeah,
mean. And
yeah.
what a performance!
But
What a
one quick
performance!
thing that I'd
Go for it.
separate that performance. So obviously we have beat City before under a few managers. So
Mm.
we've beat him under Ollie, like you said. We've beat him under Ten Hag, I'm sure. We've beat him
Even
under
Amorim,
Amorim.
the Ahmad
Yeah,
goal, but I mean that
yeah,
was last chance saloon, like flipping.
yeah. And I think the difference in this game is that again, going back to the it's a strange one where it's almost deceiving. So again, looking at the stats only. So if you don't watch the game and you see the numbers, you think, how did they end that 2-0?
Yeah,
But if you actually watch the game and think about all the other stuff
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's not pretty. So again, the off ball stuff, the sprints, the sort of pressure, the pressing, the high press, and sort of playing City at their own game in a sense. I think we had way more control in this game in the sense that I never felt, and this is very strange because I felt nervous before the game was normal. Not as
Mm.
bad as I used to do back in the day, but I did still feel nervous thinking, oh, if the batterers, if Haaland turns up, what if, I know I'm going to come on to Scholes and but what if they're
Yeah,
right? So you're
yeah.
always a bit nervous about what the scoreline's going to be. But I must admit, once the game started going and everybody sort of settled down, I never once feared that City were going to take charge of the game or even
Mm.
score at times because I think they only got probably one big chance maybe in the whole game, both
Oh,
halves.
mate. I
90
mean,
minutes of
uh,
football. That's the
obviously.
difference for me.
I was working this weekend and absolutely full on with my fitness retreat with my clients. So I missed the game, which I was gutted. Like I rarely miss any games, but
Yeah.
just when that comes up, I've got no time to do anything. So before I watched the full game back, I watched the highlights first.
Hmm.
And there was no Man City highlight. The only Man
No.
City highlight was the tackle on Doku.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one chance that there was a header where Le Mans and Dallo cleared
Yeah.
it together.
But it
That
wasn't
was
going in.
it.
Yeah,
Everything
exactly.
else was Manchester United.
It was just full on.
Hit the
Manchester
post,
United,
hit the
Manchester United.
crossbar and the post. Two disallowed goals.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I
that was
still
the big.
think Mount's goal was onside. Me, I still can't see why that
Yeah, I
was
mean, I
offside.
don't know. I don't know how that's happened. Yeah, to be honest with
No.
you, but to be honest,
But
like I've not seen us batter them or any
no.
big team
But
like
under
that.
Ole and the rest, I always felt that even though we've beat City, we've just beat them, or we're under the cosh for a lot, where it's really like backs against the wall. And I never thought we were backs against the wall in this game. It always felt that even when we were defending, it was controlled defending,
Yeah,
and then
for sure.
we were dictating where they were going on the pitch. So I've never seen that before in regards to post Fergie us doing this.
Yeah,
So that's the difference for me in this game.
I mean, yeah, that is the difference. But that brings us to our next section, to be honest. And you want to talk about difference, yeah?
Yeah.
Bruno Fernandes, right? I watched our last stream back a few days ago, and the stream finished with me saying, in the next 3 to 4 fixtures, we're going to need our captain to just step up. And oh my God, that was a performance that even the goal that was disallowed, the composure, his goal I'm talking about, to sit people down and the way he was controlling the game, all those little intricate passes that you sent me earlier, that little Instagram reel that you sent, that's all around Bruno Fernandes, popping it. I mean, I'm going to let you give your opinion on Bruno Fernandes, obviously. I mean, we've spoken about him before, but I want to get a bit more in depth here, yeah? I think he's a club legend, right? And I've been getting a lot of stick for that because club legends have to win major trophies. Club legends have to deliver major silverware. I'm telling you now, any club legend that you bring back to Manchester United in this current outfit wouldn't do much more than Bruno Fernandes has done, in my opinion. He has been absolutely phenomenal. And before you come in, Dan, before you give that opinion, I want to pop a few things up on the screen, okay? Right. Since Bruno Fernandes came to the Premier League, yeah, that is the amount of chances he's created, okay? He's first this season, most shots, most chances, most through balls. Let me see if I can make this bigger so I can see the bottom of that. No, not really. That didn't work. Never mind. You get the drift. Most assists. I've forgotten what that last one is because your head's blocking it. But
you might have to
the
go
guy,
smaller if you can.
The guy, can you make it smaller? Let's have a look.
If you go smaller,
it throws you out. I think it's most GA, it says. But anyway.
Yeah.
You get the drift. The guy is just absolutely phenomenal, right? I mean, it carries on. This is this season as well. Long passes first, long passes completed first, progressive passes first. I mean, you guys watching can go through that whole list and see, right? Seasons past, chances created, self-explanatory because he's created the most chances since he's arrived. But the only person to pip him in any season was Alexander-Arnold, who's just gone Real Madrid recently, and everyone talks about Alexander-Arnold like he's generational. He's the best thing since sliced bread. He's the best, the way he touches the ball, the way he hits the ball, I mean, Bruno Fernandes is the only name there, but you know what I'm saying? The guy is just unbelievable, and I just don't see how anyone cannot call this man a club legend. But I'll put this over to you. Is Bruno Fernandes a club legend?
Yeah, can I just quickly touch on his game against City, though?
Of course.
Specifically first, but then go on to that.
Yeah.
So obviously, just to sort of kind of answer that as well, it gets labelled a stat padder. So it's all about how you see that, because it's when you call someone a stat padder, it comes across negative, and all that person's doing is concentrating on themselves and getting their numbers up. So we'll come back onto that. But against City, just really quickly.
Yeah, of course.
Just think probably all those chances that we created, I think Bruno was a part of it, either creating them or almost doing that assist before the assist type thing. Also doing his normal conducting, telling people where to go. So that was still happening as well. He was that sort of manager on the pitch. And that's the side of Bruno that people are trying to say is not there. So they're trying to say he's not a good leader. He's not a good captain. I disagree with that. I don't think he's the same captain as Keane, but not everybody's Keane either. There's not many Keanes out there. I can't think
There's different ways to lead, isn't there, Dan? There's different ways to lead.
Of course there is.
Before you carry on there, if that wasn't a leader's performance against Manchester City, I don't know what you call that.
But this is it. It's stepping up in the big games. It's stepping up against the big teams. And if you can do that, that is leadership. And you lead in different ways, like you've said there. So some people aren't all about shouting at people and screaming in people's faces and fighting in the tunnel. Some people do things in different ways. And it's just stepping up and being there and fighting for the cause and being fit every single game as well. When he gets fouled or if he's hurt on the ground, he gets up and he runs it off. Whereas other players want to be rolling off the pitch and being taken
he's made
off.
us some stern stuff, mate. Yeah,
definitely. Mate. So, in
before you continue off that, sorry.
The
only reason he was injured this year, you could argue, is because he was being played out of position.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And when you get played out
of position...
And when you get played out of position and you don't recognise the position, you make errors. You may be in the wrong position. You may be, as in, when I mean wrong position, the wrong place in your position. I don't know. You're meant to be over to the right a little bit more. You're meant to be over to the left a bit more in certain phases of play. So you're having to sprint a bit more to make up ground. In my opinion, you know how Arteta gets a lot of stick for his players being injured because he overplays them over. Amorim, for me, playing Bruno out of position for so long, is why Bruno, out of nowhere, Bruno's never injured. So sorry to cut you off there, but yeah, carry on.
No, I was just looking there in the app just to see, because I'm sure Bruno got subbed off as well at some point. But that's the one thing as well, is that he'd rarely, if any time, got subbed off under Amorim. So as much as I know he's an Energizer bunny, he can keep going. He barely gets injured. It doesn't mean that you still run him into the ground. And I think when he got injured and came back, he was still trying to play him, or whoever was trying to play him when he came back from injury. And it's like, just take time with the guy, because at the end of the day, he's getting older and he can't play every single minute all the time. But yeah, going back to City, I just think he was so instrumental in that result. I mean, in my show afterwards, I did give the man of the match to Dorgu, purely because I just felt Dorgu just kept running.
I mean, he was sensational too.
He scored a goal as well.
Even one cross-field ball. He did a cross-field ball. It was the Casemiro chance, I believe. It ended up being, the Casemiro chance. I think it was. Yes, should have gone over for a penalty.
Yeah, he should have done, shouldn't he?
And the second goal from Dorgu. I mean, that's, for me, it weren't pretty, but he didn't give up. It was sensational. But
and I think he created, I think it was 6 chances he created in that game. But then he created 4 big chances in that game. So City created 1 big chance. He alone created 4. And he's the first player to create 4 big chances against Pep City in the whole time that Pep's been in the Premier League. So it shows you don't create that many chances against City, and one person definitely doesn't. And that's teams like Arsenal have played him, a good Chelsea have played them, and etc. and so forth. And he is the first guy to actually do that. So he's got to get a special mention for that as well for me. But I just thought he was just unbelievable in that game in the sense of the chance creation, but just silky through balls and stuff like that. The ball through to Mbeumo, perfectly weighted pass. Absolutely perfectly weighted. Mbeumo, even though he's not been on form, couldn't miss that. It was just absolutely perfectly weighted. And it just finished off that whole play, because I think that was when they'd the ball was in our area. And then I think Mbeumo sort of flicked it over the foot of maybe like Rodri or someone. And then they went on the fast attack.
Oh, you talk about the first goal. That was
And then
this is what I mean. It's underrated. It's underrated. Yeah. He's got so many options there, Bruno.
There was like a half no-look pass that he did as well. If you watch it back, he sort of does a half no-look pass.
He's got so many options there.
Unbelievable.
And you can get that wrong, right? But he plays it to perfection. He's not slow either. No, I was
actually screaming, saying, "Pass it to Ahmad," because I'm thinking Mbeumo's not been on form. Pass it to Ahmad.
He's not slow either, Bruno. Yeah.
No, he's not. It's not as slow as you think.
You've got Ahmad and Mbeumo sprinting, and Bruno has the ball, and he's keeping up with them. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which the guy's just, dare I say it, he's underrated. He's underrated.
He is, to be fair.
Bruno is absolutely out of this world. And any rival fan, any football fan, if you watch that football game, you cannot deny everything you saw Bruno do. You were like, oh, what a ball. What a touch. That was class from Bruno. I guarantee you did it at least 10 times in that game. Bruno Fernandes is absolutely sensational. And there's people in this fan base. I'm not trying to create a division here, but there's people in this fan base that want this man out of the club.
I don't get the fans that do that, but let me answer your question.
I remember on the football terrace, mate, and I asked this to Terry, would you take 70 million for Bruno now? 70 million. And he said, yes. I said, oh my God. I was asked, would I take 70 million? I said, not in a million years would I take 70 million.
I think the only thing in that defense, though, is that I think a lot of people are thinking about if he's stuck in that number sort of 6, number 8 role where he's deep, you kind of was leaning towards, would you mind him leaving? Because his performances were still good. But think about him now. I didn't think he had this. In a sense, it felt like he didn't have this level of performance in him anymore because he got pushed deep and he didn't see it. But now he's gone back in his position. It's just exploded
Part of
again.
that, Dan, is because that's the narrative, though, Dan.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, of course it is. You get brainwashed into it.
You do. The narrative is like, should Man United have parted ways with Bruno? Should Man United have cashed in 100 million with Bruno? And you get caught up in that narrative, and you start thinking,
you do.
If the broader media, if the broader football community think Bruno's on his way out, then maybe let me have a look at this. Then all it takes, Dan, you see Bruno make a bad pass, you see Bruno have an average game, and you think, what, maybe I'm going to buy into that narrative. I've always stuck to it. Bruno Fernandes is an absolutely sensational footballer. And since Roy Keane, I'm not saying he's a Roy Keane-esque captain. Is he the same level as Roy Keane as a captain? Of course not. What captains have we had since Roy Keane that you could put above Bruno in terms of delivering like what Bruno delivered against City? I'm trying to think off the top of my head now. Who was captain of United when we won it under with Van Persie that year? I can't think of who it was now.
Testing me there. I'm not sure who it was.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't know if I had to go.
Who was captain of Man United? I think it was David De Gea, believe it or not, in my head. I might be wrong. Who was captain of Man United when we last won the Premier League? The point I'm trying to make, though,
I don't think he gave it Rooney at that point, did he? I don't think.
Yeah, the point I'm trying to make, though, I don't see a better captain since Roy Keane than Bruno Fernandes when it comes to delivering. But answer the question, Dan.
Yeah, to answer your question of legendary status, then I'll do a sort of for and against. So I think where I can probably see where you're coming from is the fact, obviously, it's probably the best player that we've had since the Fergie era, in a sense. I'm not obviously counting Rooney because he was already there, but in terms of
it was Vidic. Sorry to cut you off. It was Vidic. Yeah.
Vidic. Yeah, that makes sense. So in that sense, he's probably the best player to have come through the doors since the Fergie era ended. Captain wise, obviously, a lot of people don't think he's a good captain, but in the sense of that sort of inspirational captain and follow my lead captain,
he's my captain
up when it counts. Sure. Then I think he's a good captain in that sense. Big game performer again. I think he's done it in the big games. He did. I know it's not a big game in the sense of winning a cup, but Saturday was a big game in the sense of it's a Manchester derby. It should always be a big game for us. On the line is that kudos of bragging rights. So it's on the line every time when we play City, especially when City are generally a better team than us these days. So it's a massive game. His output is out. You can't question his output. You've talked about the numbers already. Outrageous output to the fact
you put that output in another team with better quality in front of them. Yeah. I mean, it's. I mean, he takes that team and whoever's an attacker in that team to another level.
Oh yeah, it pushes the team that can't win the league to win the league for me. So like an Arsenal, it makes you win the league. I know they'll probably do it this season, but you know what I mean. If it's City, it makes you even better to the point that you can push on to maybe get quadruples and what have you.
I know they lost this weekend, but you put Bruno Fernandes in this Aston Villa team now, right? And they're pushing. They win that game maybe against Everton. You know what I mean? Bruno Fernandes. I mean, sorry, I'm singing this guy's praises, and I can go on and on and on about this guy. And yes, he's Portuguese, and yes, and all that. I think he's earned the right to be spoken about this long. And sorry, I keep cutting you off before you get to your point. But tell me, is the man a legend?
So on the other side of it, I've sort of given him all his pros, and the last pro was about the output, and that output's unbelievable. People used to say that De Bruyne was smashing him, but even De Bruyne himself put Bruno ahead of him and said he was the number one in the Premier League, and probably further than that. Going on to the other side where it could have a different argument is the major trophy thing is a massive thing for me. So it's all right. We've won the FA Cup, not going to take that away. It's lovely to win it. The League Cup as well, Europa League, you name it. But it's getting that major honour of either the Champions League or the Premier League for me. Then also, I suppose sometimes it's hard to call someone a legend until they've left the club or stopped playing as well. That's another thing. And then just that longevity. So I think overall, the only thing he's missing to stop him from being, or to move him from being a Manchester United great to a legend, is that top silverware for me. So that's where I'm at. I get where you're coming from, but that's sort of my answer on it, is that I'm going to call him a Manchester United great. Things might change by the time he's left us, but I think just that major honour for me stops him being a legend. That's
I get
where
you.
I'd probably be
I
sat
just think
with.
the reason he hasn't done that is because of the teams he's been in
I get
and
that. I get that.
the shit show that he's been
Yeah.
in, you know. That's the only reason for me. But
Yeah.
fair enough. Like I take your points and I see why people argue you can't call him a club legend, you can't call him a club legend.
I don't think he's far off.
For me, in a time where it's been pretty dark,
Yeah.
pretty dark for Man United, I can't remember another player giving me as many moments as that guy. And he's created so many chances that a lot of the moments and goals that other players have had you off your feet are because Bruno Fernandes created them. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I think really quickly, in 10 years' time, he walks through the door. I think players would look at him and think, "Oh, look at this! This is Bruno, the legend." Possibly, but I think I find it difficult to call him that right now, because I just think when I look at the legends of the past, it's what they've done for the club. It's the difference.
Have a little read of that. That's what Michael's got to say to you there, yeah? Have a little read of that. To end the Bruno argument, you can ask if Brian Robson is a United legend, because last I checked, Robson didn't win the league and he's definitely a legend. So listen, the debate's there, and thanks for that, Michael. Thanks for engaging as always. Look, the debate's there, and that's why we're having it. That's why we're talking about it. For me, it's undoubtedly a fact that the man's a club legend, and the minute we lose him, we're gonna miss him. But we move on. We move on.
Yes.
It's time. Listen, we're very happy. We're very happy at the weekend. We're very happy at Bruno's performance. We're very happy of how the team played. But we need to just chill out a second. Yeah. It's
where you come
game.
in. That's where you come in.
It's one
Bring
game.
us back down to earth.
I'm not gonna deny what I said on the last stream. I'm not gonna hide from it. I said Carrick would be sacked before the season's even over.
Still might be.
Right. And after seeing a performance like that, you start scratching your heads thinking, like, what the hell did I say? But let's be honest here, right? Like you said at the top of this stream, jokingly, and we even said it via voice note after the game had finished, you know. Won't be long before Rio Ferdinand's screaming, give him the contract, let him put
I don't think he's far off, you know.
Yeah,
I don't think he's far off already.
He wants on the paper.
Yeah. Sign the thing.
And give him the job. I'm still, I mean, it's only one game, but let's say this continues, Dan. Yeah? Let's say we head over to the Arsenal game next and we do the same to Arsenal. Yeah? Let's say that happens. Will those two games be enough for you to be like, oh my God, like, Carrick's at the wheel and Carrick football's phenomenal and United DNA is back?
I will sing the song at the start of my streams, but I won't particularly mean it in terms of in reality at the end of the season. So I think what it is that I will enjoy the moment, because nobody's going to take that away from me. I can be negative about things that I need to be. So if the team plays crap, I'll say the shit. If I can see some deficiencies in the tactics, I'll say, you're not up to it, Carrick. But whilst it's working and whilst it's enjoyable, I will sing the song, I will be really happy and what have you. But in regards to your question, 2 games will not be enough. I think what I need to see, and I've always said this, is there's enough coaches that have beat Man City, beat Arsenal, I'm trying to think who else has been top, Liverpool. For me, it's, can we, I know I don't think we're playing Burnley again now, but if we get a team like Burnley or a Wolves or a team down the bottom end, can we break that low block down? Can he figure out a way of breaking that low block down? So if he can do that and we're still looking good, then at the end of the season, that's going to be a massive question. Massive question. I mean, I don't want to answer it right now, but that's going to be a massive question.
I hear you. And I'm still firmly in the camp. Even if this man gets us second, I don't want him to be the manager.
I know. I'm trying to stick to my guns on that one, because you know what's
But I get it. This is the emotion room, and emotions change. But here's where I'm at a little bit, yeah? And this is why I don't want to get carried away. And I just want to remind whoever's watching to not get carried away. When we beat Liverpool, we were all like, "Oh my god, we've turned a corner. This is
Yeah,
absolutely fantastic.
yeah,
It's a great result." And Liverpool, I don't think they won a game after that for like 5 or 6 games. They were
yeah,
awful at the time,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So you look at that in hindsight now, that victory against Liverpool, everyone was fucking smashing them up.
yeah.
I read a thing today actually that Man City haven't won a game yet since the turn of the new year.
Not in the Premier League.
Not in the Premier League, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Now we've just beat them, and we've just spent half an hour, 35 minutes talking about how amazing we were, how
Mm,
amazing Bruno Fernandes was, how amazing Carrick was setting them up.
mm,
What if this is just another Liverpool win where the truth is Man City are not great at the moment and we've just
mm.
met them at a great time and capitalized against them? That's what I'm worried about, Dan. Yeah.
That's possible. That's
Right?
possible.
That's very possible, in my
Oh yeah.
opinion. And I'm not going to get carried away. I'm very happy with the victory. I'm still firmly in the camp, and I've got to try and stay there. I've got to try and
Yeah.
stay there. That even if he goes and smashes Arsenal, and trust me, you earn a lot of stripes from me when you smash Arsenal. It's going to
Yeah.
be very. If he gets the team to put in a performance like that against Arsenal and derails Arsenal, derails their title hopes, like
Yeah.
starts putting their fan base in a frenzy of we're going to bottle it again, he's earned a lot of stripes for me, and it's going to be tough for me to see the back of him. But we
Yeah.
can't do this anymore, Dan. I don't care what Carrick does this year. If he gets us second, third, fourth, whatever, I'm still going to be like, we need to go and get Luis Enrique.
Quick question though. Now you've mentioned that, because I was sort of going to ask you if it came up. Let's say, I'm trying to think what's realistic. Let's say it gets top four. I'm not saying it's third or fourth. Let's say it gets top four, but on top of that top four, we've already had that win against City.
Mm.
Granted, it wasn't a great City, but you've still got to beat what's in front of you. Then we play Arsenal. Let's say we either beat them or we have a really good game and we draw. And then we get some really consistent results where we're playing good football as well and we get top four. Then the option is Enrique. So this is the first part of the question. I'll let you answer that. So then the option's kind of like, do you stick with Carrick or do you go with Enrique? At that point, are you still going Enrique at that point?
I will go Enrique at any point, if I'm honest. And
Yeah.
I know, see, here's where it is, and I'm glad,
Yeah.
again, this show's called The Emotion Room, because this is what it's based on. These are what these decisions are based on. And you
Yeah.
can't make these decisions on emotion because of Manchester United DNA, of Manchester United style of play. And we're going to touch base on this a little later, but I feel like that big manager, that big personality is starting to get shifted out of football.
Yeah.
Everyone, we're going to touch base on this later, so I don't want to go too far into this, but it's like every club wants a yes man. Every club wants a manager they can mold. Every club wants a manager under a sporting director that is just answering to this guy rather than collaborating.
I get that. But to play devil's advocate, though, David, let's say we do go with Enrique, which I'm still saying get that elite coach through those doors. But let's say this elite coach, which is Enrique, tries to input his philosophy on this team and can't do it because they haven't got the brain capacity to do it, or he doesn't get the backing to get the right players, and we end up in a similar sort of situation as Amorim, but you've let Carrick go away, who's actually got your top four, playing the United way. Because one thing I will say is, one of the things that hold me back from the Carrick is the name almost, and the fact that he hasn't got that like elite coach aura. But one thing he fulfilled in one game, that is, because obviously it can go to shit next game, is I saw what I've been asking for, which is that United DNA. I saw that in abundance, and I want to see that regular. And if he can give me that regularly, I'm going to struggle to say get rid of Carrick and bring Enrique. And don't get me wrong, I'll probably still try and do that head over heart scenario. But it's going to be very difficult for me to say get rid of Carrick if he's playing the way I want him to play, is set a tone with the team, and he's got you the top four. I'm going to find that very hard, is all I'm going to say. So what are you going to do if Enrique comes in and we can't play the Enrique way? And everything, it just starts shoving bombs into the dressing room, grenades, and it just blows up because Wilcox can't handle him, Barada can't handle him. They don't back him enough because they ain't got the money. Because I don't think we've got enough money to even back the guy. But I'm just giving a bit of devil's advocate out there, though.
No, I hear you, and they're all valid points, but this is exactly what the ownership's gonna say.
Would you take Pep? Seeing that comment.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Pep Guardiola's the best manager since Sir Alex Ferguson, but he spends a lot of money, does Pep, just like United do.
Yeah, but there is a chance, though, David, for it to go that way with Enrique. He's not nothing's 100% guaranteed. That's the problem. You ain't got a crystal ball. You don't know if it's going to work. We just assume it will because he's an elite coach who's worked at Spain, he's worked at Barcelona, he's worked at PSG. So we just think elite coach, he'll do it. But who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I'm listening. I'm seeing Michael here. I'm listening to you, and here I can see it already, guys. One game.
I know one game's done this to us. Emotion room.
Viewers.
Hey, no, I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm not saying give him the job at this stage. I'm putting the other argument in there. Yep.
One game, and Dan's already telling me to forget about Enrique, basically, right?
No, not saying that. Not saying that. I'm just saying there is that. What we're not thinking about is the chance that if he doesn't get backed and he doesn't like something, because Enrique might not be as explosive as Conte, but I don't think he's far off. And he fell out with Mbappe, and that's one of the reasons why he left. So you'd never think he was going to leave with the agreements he had with PSG and all that sort of stuff. He were talking about part ownerships and all sorts, but he is abrasive, which we like, the fact that he's no nonsense, but I'm just giving the other side. There's plenty I'm sure some of our viewers are thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's a great question.
It's risky business.
There's a great question here from Grace. Are you happy being a sit-back counter-attacking team, or would you rather be a possession team? For me, the best football we've played since post-Sir Alex Ferguson has been under Ollie, when we were a counter-attacking team, where we would get found out. Before you come in, where we would get found out is when teams would sit back and have this low block against us, we couldn't break it down. We didn't have the quality to break it down. But for me, there's a way around that. You just get better personnel, better quality that can break these teams down, even in low block, and still be a counter-attacking team. The difference with Ferguson...
Go on, sorry, because you're going to go on to Ferguson.
He could do both. Right, he knew when to set up as a counter-attacking team against the big teams and thought, you know what, we can't play these guys off the park, but we can hit them where it hurts. Ferguson was all-rounded. He had the team playing some all-round stuff. But to answer Grace's question before you come in, I think I'd rather take us. We were a possession team under Van Gaal, and it was awful. It was awful, Grace. But go on, Dan.
Just like you've just said there, because that's prompted something, is we've tried the possession team, and I don't think in our heyday we've ever been a possession team anyway. We might have had more possession against, you go into Burnley in the dark and dingy in January, and you've got more of the ball. But I don't think we've ever been a possession team. I see like the Arsenal team under Wenger as more of a possession team. You've seen other teams over the years when they've had different coaches and that more continental style. When we come up against like the best sides in Europe back in the day, even when Champions League was on ITV, so some of the younger viewers wouldn't have seen that. But
was
Barcelona,
was it Des?
Stuff like that. Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
is that his name?
But legend of a commentator. But then you've got teams like Barcelona just popping it around, Real Madrid just popping it around. We've never been that sort of full-on possession team like a Pep. We've never been that team. So that's why I've said, like, when I say like Klopp was like a sort of like a perfect coach, Liverpool weren't a possession team. They might have had more possession than most teams, but in terms of, they weren't all about possession and being pretty and just doing pretty patterns.
I think what Dan,
it was gun-ho attacking.
I think what Michael said here is exactly what you said earlier and what you're saying now. You don't have to have possession to control games. You can control games out of possession, and when you get possession, you're going. I think it was
being decisive with the ball when you get it back.
A great example of that was that Bayern Munich that year that won the treble. I forget the name of their manager, but his surname started with a H. He was an old boy before Pep took over Bayern Munich.
Hunes or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, someone in the chat helped me type his name in. But that team like absolutely battered Pep's Barcelona in that style, controlling where Barcelona were moving the
Yeah,
ball
yeah,
and
yeah.
forcing them to move the ball to a place where, yeah, move it there for us because we're going to nick it off you here
Mm,
and bang, we're going to sting you. I would
yeah.
rather be that sort of team. That sort of team.
I think it's closer to our DNA. The problem is someone puts. So, for example, if someone puts in the chat, "Do you want to be a transition team or a
Yeah.
counter-attacking team?"
Mm.
That feels different to me, and a lot of people see it in different ways. So, Liverpool used to always got. It was always like labels, especially in like match of the day or commentary. Oh, look at that transition that Liverpool did.
Mm.
It's a counter attack.
That's what it
I
is, yeah.
so many times I'd see him
Oh,
nick the
mate.
ball and Mane bombs on, Salah bombs on. It's a
But
counter
we're
attack.
in a world now where they change the name of things to make it sound nicer. Like, let's
Exactly.
be honest here. Michael Carrick's a caretaker manager. He's a caretaker.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they've changed it from caretaker to interim. So
Yeah.
you don't sound like a geezer that
Interim
cleans
head
up the
coach.
school. So you don't sound like a geezer that cleans up the
Just
school,
puts
like a
out the
janitor.
cones, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now they're changing counter-attacking team to a transition team, you know. So it's all just to make things sound a bit more. I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but everyone that's viewing probably gets exactly what I'm saying. But before we move on to the next subject, Arsenal game. How do you feel about that? I mean, it's a tough one, right? Because after that performance, you feel like you can do anything. But let's be honest
I
here.
know. You've got to
Arsenal
be
are the
realistic.
best team in the league right now. They are.
I mean, they've just had a draw, aren't they? I'm trying to
But
think of
overall,
their
the table doesn't
form.
lie. You
No,
know,
no,
even
no,
when they
no.
play badly, they don't lose. These fellas.
No, no,
You
they
know,
don't.
you know,
They don't.
and they get. I hate Arsenal, right? But I just say it how it is. They get knocked for a bunch of draws. But these are against like tough teams, right? And there's teams losing points left, right, and centre in the league. But Arsenal,
Yeah.
you know, they're a tough team to beat. They're the best team in the league this year so far.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that game? And give us a quick prediction.
Yeah. I think after the game against City, obviously you get all emotional. Back to the emotion room,
Yeah.
and you think, like you've just said there, you think, oh, we can rule the world now after that performance, and you do get a little bit silly, don't you, in the moment. But all I can say is that I'm more confident of getting a result in this game than I was. So before coming on to the actual prediction itself, I'm more confident of getting a result than I was a few weeks back. So, for example, if Fletcher was still in charge, I would have definitely said lose against City, because I said that anyway. And then, depending on what the result would be, probably say lose against Arsenal. That game and the way we played gives me hope, if there was to replicate that performance, that we can get a result. So I personally would set up in the same way. And it's very unfortunate for Sesko, because we haven't mentioned him. But at the time, I think, no, where's Sesko? What's this about? We want a striker on the pitch. But this is what I said in my show. I said, this is why Carrick's a coach and I'm not. I don't have A license, a B license. I just watch a game like
He
a
was
fan,
just
and
looking
that's
for
it.
pace, wasn't he? He was looking for
He was
pace
looking for
in
pace and
behind.
hard work
It
and all
made
that sort of
sense.
stuff.
Yeah,
It made
yeah.
sense. And I think he'll probably go the same again, because obviously Arsenal are a similar team in a sense, in terms of they'll have more of the possession. They are very dangerous. We're going to have to stifle them as well and sort of cut off their passing lanes from Odegaard and Rice and what have you. So we're going to have to do the same with them. But they've got more players on form than probably City have. So that's where the thing's going to be different. So I think what I'll say to answer the question is, I'm more positive about this game than I would have been. But I'm going to say, I can't think of a score right now, but I'm going to say it will be a draw, is what I'm thinking. That's how I'm seeing it.
I think it was Michael that said it might be a draw here, or someone. Yeah, I can't find it now. I don't know. I really don't know. Like I say, I absolutely hate Arsenal. And when I don't remember the last time we beat Arsenal. This is brilliant from
But
Grace.
it's at Emirates,
Do you remember
though,
that
innit?
game? Do you remember? I think Danny Welbeck scored for us in that game. Ashley Young scored a few. Rooney scored a few. Oh, I'll never forget that game, and I don't think Arsenal will ever forget that game either. But mate, this Man City game could have been 6-0. So I mean,
Yeah, it could have been. It could have been.
it could have been 6-0, but Arsenal are a better team than Man City.
At Emirates as well. It's going to be tricky, that, isn't
It's
it?
going to be tricky. So you're going for a draw.
I think I normally a score just pops into my head close to the game, but at the minute I'm feeling a draw. But I'm feeling that we're going to be well organised, hopefully, and I think we're going to make an account for ourselves. I just don't see us beating Arsenal because of what they've got to bring to the table. Because we can't discount what Arsenal are going to bring to the table. What we're going to bring to the table, hopefully, is an organised team that sort of stifles them sort of full on attack on us. But it's whether we can sort of hold out long enough to score a goal and nick like a 1-0. I'm not sure about that. But at the minute, I'm feeling a draw at the minute is how I'm seeing it.
I mean, Michael just reminded me when Carrick he was interim before, wasn't he? Right?
Yes,
and
yes.
He took over for 2 games. Was it Chelsea and Arsenal?
I think it was 3 games he had, didn't he? Or was it one game in Europe?
Yeah, maybe a game in Europe. And yeah, you're right. Carrick stays unbeaten against Arteta. 1-1 draw predicted here by Michael. I still think, hey Flossie, how you doing? I still think our defense has major questions, right? And not to be the negative, but seeing as you said you were playing devil's advocate earlier, I will do the same now. If that Dallo challenge, and we're not going to go too far into that because we could spend another 10-15 minutes on whether that was a red card or not, but if it was given a red card, that could have been a very different game, right? And we could be having a very different conversation. I do not trust that we can get anything from this game.
But our silver AFCON medalist is coming back. Who knows?
Yeah.
Mazraoui.
You talk about Mazraoui. Mate, I mean, did you watch that last night?
I didn't actually, no, I didn't watch that last game.
This is completely off subject, but they get a penalty, right? Morocco, in literally the final kick of the game. Yeah. Right after Senegal's been disallowed a goal that should never have been disallowed. VAR didn't check it. It was a shambles, right? Sorry to the viewers who are here for Man United and everything else, but they then get a softish penalty the other end that VAR gives and checks. So they don't check the goal that was disallowed, but give the penalty via VAR. The Senegal players then refuse to continue the game.
Oh, he walked him off the pitch.
Go into the changing rooms. Come back 10 minutes later.
Wow.
Right? And Brahim Diaz from Real Madrid takes the penalty and decides to Panenka it.
As if you do that.
Mendy then catches it. They go into extra time immediately, like the whistle goes, and Senegal go on and win it. I mean, it was absolute box office. That Brahim Diaz, I feel sorry for him, but he's going to need witness protection, that fella, to be honest with you. But back on the subject, Doku dived, Dallo barely touched him. I mean, it looked worse than it was in slow-mo for sure, I think.
There wasn't intent, was there? But, yeah, of course you have. You could have been a red easily. But carry on with the defensive side of things. I think I
mean, it's good to have Maguire back, even though he nearly. I mean, that header against the crossbar. I mean,
you were too close, though, weren't you? You were too close.
Yeah, he's absolutely fantastic, to be honest. The turnaround he's had, Maguire, right? Yeah. I'm glad to have him back. So that already makes me feel a little better. You know what I mean? And I think the newer system that we're playing suits him better as well. Do you know what I mean? That 3 at back, I'm not sure. But to get to the point, and I think I want to feel like this isn't a one-off performance, but I don't want to get carried away. I'm going to stick to what I said in regards. I think
stick to your guns, David. Come on.
It's more of a case. I defo think this was like when we beat Liverpool. That City are having a bad drop off.
I see what you're saying.
And we've capitalized at the right time. I could see City drawing or losing their next game, and then you kind of look back at us and be like, "Oh my god, they had like 3 draws, lost to us, and another draw." And then you'll start scratching your head and being like, "We were great, we played amazing, but City weren't that good." I can see us losing to Arsenal 2-0. Yeah, and to answer this question, Grace, and I've been called not a real Man United fan due to my answer to this. I've grown up in North London, right? And I drive past the Emirates twice a week.
Nice.
and I'm a London boy, right? And the reason I support Man United is what my dad taught me, much like religion. You know, you don't question it, you don't answer it. It's in your blood, it's in your genes. It's just what you are. Yeah. And I've grown up with Arsenal fans chatting shit. Always, always, always. They're the most annoying fan base. Not every fan, right? But they're the most annoying fan base I've ever met. And I think a lot of people can agree with that. Now, imagine being brought up with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I cannot stand Arsenal. And I'd rather City win the league ahead of Arsenal. Number one, because City are number one, and you could come in on this, but number one, because City are nowhere near us in terms of winning leagues.
Yeah.
Right. And I just don't ever want to see Arsenal successful at anything. I just absolutely hate them. You know, I absolutely hate them. But I've predicted 2-0 Arsenal this weekend. It is this weekend. Is it Sunday? It is Sunday, isn't it? I think evening.
Sunday,
And you've predicted, what did you predict? A draw of some
sort?
sort?
I haven't given a score yet, but a draw I'm going for.
Yeah. Before we move on to the next thing, there's a conspiracy about the pen that Diaz deliberately missed so the game can continue fairly. That's why the Senegal team did not surround the goalie after he caught it. Yeah. It seemed to be that way because Brahim Diaz wasn't like, he didn't have his head in his hands.
Right.
It was like he was just following orders. So I mean, that summarizes a little bit the AFCON, to be honest. I think it was the last tournament.
They do some crazy stuff,
where the referee blew the whistle on the 83rd minute. You know, I mean, it's box office. I won't miss another AFCON game in my life. I mean, if you want to watch something that's controversial and just unbelievable and passionate, by the way,
it's nuts, isn't it?
Watch the AFCON, to be honest. Unbelievable. But guys, if you haven't predicted the Man United Arsenal game this weekend, please predict it in the chat and let us know what you think. Is this a one-off performance by Michael Carrick's Manchester United, or can we do it to Arsenal too? Which, by the way, if we do beat Arsenal, that blows the title race wide open.
We've had a hand on both, haven't they? Yeah, of course
Arsenal
it does.
did not capitalise on it. They did not capitalise
on it.
No, they didn't. Every chance they get, Dan, they're not capitalising, by the way. But I just don't know if City are good enough to catch them. SJG. I don't know why it is when a J and a G are together. It's a tongue twister for me. Sorry. I'm going for the win to United. I'm staying on a positive train. It's nice to be here for a change. Yes, he's firmly in your camp, Dan. He's been he or she. Sorry, I don't know if you're a male or female. But SJG 1414 is firmly in your positivity camp. I'm not quite there, and I'm not going to be there for a while. I'll only be positive, really, and when I see Enrique or someone like that managing my team. I'm sorry, I'm going to stick to that. That's where I'm at. But next subject, right? I'm just writing the time down here, so then I can segment it after for you guys, so you know where it's at and where the subjects are at. It's about this. Let me add it to the stage. It's about what Nicky Butt and Paul Scholes said about Martínez. If you didn't see it, the quotes are there, but to summarize it, it's just basically that they said Haaland would pick up Martínez and just run with him like a school kid. You sent this to me, Dan. You know, Manchester United don't seem to be too happy with it, as you can see here on the right. Manchester United are really unhappy at the rude comments from Paul Scholes and Nicky Butt on their podcast, believing it was an attempt to mock Lisandro Martínez rather than offer any constructive analysis. Thereafter, and again, I'm going to get better at this, guys, putting this stuff up because I keep blocking things out. But that first one there is Paul Scholes' Instagram. He's basically saying someone had a good game, was happy to see that. Dan, what's your thoughts on this? Do you think this is out of order?
Yeah, I think Rio, because it was sort of too close to us going live, but I think Rio sort of put something out on his sort of podcast, sort of saying that he always tried his best to sort of constructive criticism and never gone personal. So just to jump on that as well is that I'm in two camps on this. Sometimes I'm thinking, oh, just shut up. But at the end of the day, the legends, Scholes, but people like that. And ultimately, they've got the club's best interest at heart. And they just want to see good players or great players play for Manchester United like they did. Because obviously what they saw before them is your Charltons and your Bests and stuff like that. and they've grown up with greatness. They've grown up with Giggs, that's a similar age to them, breaking into the side and flying down the wing. Sharpe, you name it. Paul Ince, all them sort of players. It's a continuous conveyor belt of fantastic talent, high standards. So it's got to be hard for people like Scholes and Butt and Keane to see the standards drop so low. And I think that's what the problem is. And that's where you get all this DNA and all this sort of stuff. Going back to the comments, though, I think when you start attacking the person personally, so this is what this is in a sense. When you start saying Haaland's going to pick Martinez up, he's not saying he's going to pick Maguire up. So that means you're saying that Maguire is 6 foot odd and you can't pick him up, but Martinez is just like a little matchstick figure that you can just pick up and chuck into the net. And I think you're starting to get personal then. And I don't want to see that from our legends where you're starting to do personal attacks on our current players because, again, I've talked about soft mentalities and I don't think Martinez has that, but some of our players have sort of softer mentalities than we're used to. And I think if you start attacking them personally, and I think sometimes they go a bit too far with it, which those statements are. I watched some of their podcasts when they were on about it, and I just thought, you've gone too far here for me, where you're actually starting to do, you're going from, so for example, if they said, I feel that we should not play Martinez and play Maguire and let's say De Ligt was fit. Let's play Maguire and De Ligt because De Ligt obviously is stronger and all that sort of stuff. I wouldn't mind that so much because you're giving a reason for it. But if you're then saying, okay, if Martinez does play, he needs to do A, B, and C to negate some of his weaknesses. That's fine. Or if you say, for example, a player didn't have a good game today, and this is the reason why, have no issue with that. But when you start going a little bit personal, I don't like that. What do you think? I don't like that personally. I think that's too much.
I think if it had an impact on Martinez,
it probably does on Martinez.
If it had an impact on Martinez prior to the game, it worked because he played well.
But he's never been done over by Haaland.
Correct.
I think Haaland's only scored 1 goal when he's played.
Correct. He's always had a decent game against Haaland, right? But Martinez has not been playing well since he come back from injury.
No, he hasn't, right? To be fair.
And he wasn't. I completely block out who our last game was. It was Brighton, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Before that, and before that it was Burnley. I think he played both games, but definitely one of those games he was awful. He was awful. And you know what? I hear you on the personal stuff. I hear you on all of that stuff. But sometimes someone needs to say something to you that hits you so, like, upsets you so hard.
Yeah, it goes one of two ways, doesn't it?
That it goes one of two ways. And it lights a fire under you.
Yeah.
Now, I've got no issues, to be honest, with ex-players that were successful at Manchester United to mock the current outfit. Yes, there is a line, but they've been awful. They've been awful. They've got another manager sacked. And yes, Amorim, we won't go into that. And it's not all about the players. Amorim was awful too. But there's a reason these players are getting coated, mocked, talked badly about, said that they're going to be put in someone's pocket because quite frankly, they've been awful. They've been awful for a very long time. And if they weren't awful, then none of this would be spoken about.
No, there's a fine line though, isn't there? I think you can criticise and constructive criticism, and a lot of these players, like your Rios and stuff, will reach out to the club to come round the ground and talk to players, which I think Rio did more recently. And there you can share ideas and give tips and stuff like that. But I think some of these things are being said for headlines, so the whole sort of pick him up and chuck him in the net. It's a bit of fun, but it's also how that person's going to interpret it as well.
The truth is, I mean, Gary Neville's very good at towing the line, isn't he? In what he says about ex-players, sometimes he doesn't quite jump over the line, but then he's got another fella on his show that we're going to come on to next that completely smashes that line out of the park. Yeah, you either love it. You either love it or you hate it. But my overall thoughts, Dan, are I don't blame the ex-players for mocking these guys, because we've been awful. And I hear your side of it. And this is why we're doing a show together, because we see things differently sometimes, right? And it's great because viewers can be like, yeah, I agree with Dan or I agree with
Oh
Dave,
yeah,
or you're bang in the middle, just like this line in the middle of the screen, right?
yeah,
I, I think they deserve to be mocked. I think they deserve to be spoken about sometimes in a. There's a line. I agree with you. There is a line,
mm,
but I don't think these guys crossed it too badly. They're doing a podcast. They're trying to get views on their podcast. They're having a bit of a lads chat, and they've achieved a lot in the game for Manchester United. And Martinez has not been great. Haaland is a
yeah,
beast. He's probably the best striker in the world. So just like me saying, I think Carrick could be sacked by the end of the year. They're saying they thought Martinez was going to be awful. You can
yeah,
get it wrong sometimes. I don't think it was
yeah.
that bad, but I totally take note that they could have just said, you know, we need a little more than Martinez against Haaland or something like that. But I mean, that doesn't get views, does it? That doesn't get
This
views.
is this is the thing. They've all got podcasts, which the legends of yesterday, we
No,
didn't
they
have
were
social
pundits.
media
Yeah. Even
and
Rio
pundits.
has
Yeah,
stopped doing TNT Sports and now just focuses on
yeah.
YouTube.
The worst they had was Alan Hansen saying, "You won't win anything with kids." That's the
Yeah.
worst that they had thrown at
Yes.
them.
Yeah.
They've not had
And
anything
you know what?
worse than that.
We're talking about that, guys, in 2026.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It hit them that hard, that remark, that we're talking about it in 2026.
But it galvanized them, though.
There
That's
you
the
go.
difference.
But nowadays, we're in a different world with social media. People could say whatever
Oh,
they want. People can say
yeah.
whatever they want.
Of course, yeah.
But I don't think it was that bad. But I totally. That's why I wanted to talk to you about it. You're
Yeah,
the one.
yeah.
You're the one that sent it to me as an idea to talk about.
Yeah, it's just a
Um,
talking point. It's nice to see different views on it.
yeah,
Definitely.
I'm kind of like it weren't that bad. And you know what? The fact that Martinez answered back as well and was kind
Yeah.
of like, I don't
But
care.
I think it sometimes though, just to finish on it
Yeah,
is
go for it.
sometimes it's like that class bully though, where at first when someone's just chipping away, you know, if it's just one or two times, it's not too bad. But when it's every single week, or if it's the same player, that can start to go the other way for me. And it gets to that sort of classroom bully sort of thing. So that's why I'm saying there's a sort of a thin line there, and you've just got to make sure you're not crossing it for me. So I think happy with the criticism, happy for you to bring stuff up. Okay, if you want to sort of boost your views online, not that them two need to, but they are competing against stick to football, though, aren't they? So
Yeah.
they want
Overlap,
to be
etc.
controversial. They've got. Well, you're going to come on to the next figure anyway, but they want to sort of be on a par there, don't they, or surpass. So I get it, but it shouldn't be at detriment of our players, though. Is all I'm going to say. But we'll see.
Yeah, and then I mean, it's not just them, is it? And this brings us to the next part. It's not just them going on a madness. It's Roy Keane. I love Roy Keane, and like we've all spoken about Roy Keane. We've given the interim job to absolutely fucking everyone that's played for Man United, right? And the only man that I wish we would have given it to for a little bit is this man. I absolutely love Roy Keane, and I love everything he says about Man United, if I'm honest. I love that he holds them to such a standard that even fans with the highest Manchester United standards look at him and like, oh, flipping hell, Keane, that's a bit harsh, because he holds them. But that's why he was such a good captain. That's why he was amazing, and that's why he would never be replaced. The standard he holds Manchester United, even till this day, is unbelievable. However, I think when you start talking about man's wife,
I know.
For me, bro, like, you know, you just devalue yourself a little bit for me, man. Just don't. And I get it. Years and years ago, Carrick's wife mentioned something. What is it there? Roy Keane, I think that was what a prick or what a twat or something like that. Says anything to provoke a reaction. This was us. Michael Carrick was still playing, I'm guessing, back in those days. Yeah, 2014. Says anything to provoke a reaction, that's all done. And Keane didn't react. He's waited 12 years to then say his wife can always come in because she's got a big mouth. She's probably doing the team talk. It was flipping funny, but it's just like Keane, man. I think there's a line and you just crossed it there. Like, leave the wife out. Leave the wife out.
This is it.
What's your thoughts on that, mate?
Yeah, quickly on that. I just think, obviously they must have had their spat how many years ago when she's jumped in. I think she deleted the tweet in the end anyway.
Yeah.
But I just think, like you've just said there, if you're coming for Carrick, fine. But to go
Before
for
you
his wife,
continue there, the fact she's deleted the tweet, mate, shows that Michael Carrick's gone and said to her, like, babes, rein that in a little bit. I don't want that. I don't want to get involved in that. That should show Roy Keane enough that Carrick's done his bit to say to his missus, hey, is it okay if you delete that? I don't really want to.
Yeah,
That's
I think
enough not to bite back for me. That's enough not to
This
bite back for me. But sorry, carry on.
Oh no, I think you're right there. I think he's obviously gone home and said, "Look, babes, like this is Roy Keane. He's a United legend. He's going to have opinions. I don't think it's wise you coming out and doing that. It's not going to look good on me." And I suppose that's what we'd want Mano to do with his Love Island brother. Just like shut that down. Don't let that happen where you got that T-shirt on. What you're doing? You're just embarrassing me. So I think that's probably the angle he went down. She's deleted it. She regretted it. She's sort of apologized to a certain extent and said, yes, it was the heat of the moment. We all do silly things. But I think for him to hold on to that against, I'm not saying she's a defenseless lady, but just to come out with that on TV and just like go for her again, especially when her husband is our current United coach. And but I think you're going for the current United coach's wife. That's unprofessional. That's unprofessional.
That's bringing me on to my next point off of that. Still on Keane. He's been quite harsh in general with Fletcher, saying, again, which I thought was brilliant. Yeah, saying Fletcher calls up the boss before he goes for a shit, basically, or a piss. He's probably bailed him up, and he's been harsh on Evans. He's been hard, like is Stevie Holland the new guru? I mean, it's absolutely box office stuff. And again, he holds Manchester United to such a high standard. But is there a little bit of jealousy that he's not been offered the opportunity to be involved here? Chat, if you're listening, if you're still here, there's still quite a few. Do you think Roy Keane's slightly jealous he's not been offered the opportunity? Go for it, Dan. Tell me.
Yeah, in short, I'd say yes, because I think it gets mentioned to him a lot, and you can see in his reaction where there's a pause, like, "Oh, would you take it if they offered it?" And he's like, "It's a pause," and it's like, "But they wouldn't offer it me." So that's your answer straight away. They wouldn't offer it me. So you're not saying point blank no. You're saying, but they wouldn't offer it me. And I think what he means by that is that he's fallen out with Fergie, which I think is thawing out, but he's not quite. I don't think he'll ever get there. But he absolutely hated Fergie from that fallout when he spoke out how many years ago against the youth players and it got scrapped from MUTV. That's when, obviously, we know the story and he ended up leaving the club. But he holds on to things. Quite clearly, he holds on to stuff and he can't let stuff go. And he doesn't really go to Old Trafford because of Fergie. He thinks that Sir Alex Ferguson is labeling him as a bad smell that lingers around. And this will be the reason why it's a combination of that and it's a combination of sour grapes that he's not being offered the job. And he's right to a certain extent because he'll see himself in his status within that club.
When you look at some of the players.
And who's been offered it?
Yeah. When you look at some of the players that have got, we put it up. I haven't got it to hand now, guys, but we put up basically a team sheet of all the players that have got the interim job. We've practically nearly made a starting 11 that have got the interim job. The fact that Keane is not on that list, I see why he's upset, and I see why he's getting even more bitter towards everything when it comes to Manchester United. He seems to be getting worse and worse and worse. I love watching it. It's box office. But, for me, just chill out with the wife stuff, mate.
Yeah, he's gone too far there.
Say whatever else you want. I just
about
think when you start going to the wife stuff, it's just like, bro, like you lose me. You
just to leave that off,
especially when you lose me as a bloke. You lose me as a bloke as well. Yeah. It's like, bro, like I have so much respect for you.
His status on TV and other media sources and his name throughout the football industry to go for a woman like that, I just don't. I mean, go for anybody that's not got that voice, but to go for her like that, I just don't get it. You just need to. That's a step. I mean, again, box office stuff at times, but that's a step too far for me. Like you say, we can both agree on that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I say, I think he's always wanted a job. He's always wanted a role at Manchester United in some sort. He's very bitter as the way it And I
how it
part
ended.
agree
Yeah,
with him. There's two sides to a story, but I part agree
yeah,
with him. The way they got rid of him, the way it ended, it wasn't right
yeah,
for
yeah.
for someone that's earned so many stripes, delivered so much for Manchester United. He should have been treated better. And he's not the only one that's been let go like that in that scenario. De Gea wasn't treated well at all. You know, that was
No,
quite sad
no.
the way that happened. So
Mm,
Roy Keane has a lot of points and a lot of reason to be bitter about. But again, just to summarize that point, just leave it off when it comes to man's wife, man. That was mental. But let's see how it progresses. Let's see how it progresses. On to the final bit of the show, guys. Yeah. And Dan, you kind of brought this up. And you sent it to me earlier, and it's a
mm,
valid point, right? You saw the interview, obviously, just like I did. Glasner's
yeah,
basically came out and said, we feel no support. I see the players and everybody is disappointed. I mean, it's not here on the screen, but he even said that they feel abandoned. Yeah,
yeah,
they
yeah.
feel abandoned. Now, I'm not here to talk so much about Glasner and
No,
should
no.
we get Glasner next? Because I'll be honest, we've had this conversation. I'm sure the chat will agree. This three at the back or five at the back, whatever you want to call this flipping fucking system, I never want to see it again, to be honest.
Never.
Unless it's an elite manager
Yeah.
like an Enrique that comes and says, "This is what I
No.
want to play."
I just don't want it.
Even
I
then
don't
I'd
want
be
it.
scratching my head. The
Mm,
point I want to make, it's not, oh, Glasner's leaving, should we get Glasner? It's the point you said when you messaged
mm,
me, and you're right. There
yeah.
seems to be a lot of managers these days just sacking themselves. You
Yeah.
know, I don't know what the payouts are for these other guys, right? But that's Amorim 10 million payout. I assume Maresca's similar.
That'll be high. Yeah. Maresca. Yeah.
Glasner's got no contract till the end of the year, as in his contract finishes at the end of the year.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, if they sack him today, it's probably £1 million, God knows.
Mm,
I mean, why? You tell me what you think, but you're right. That's three managers that have sacked themselves. Is it the pressure? Do they just want the payout? Have they run out of ideas? Or is it that directors of football now are the big dogs in football? It's not so much the manager anymore. The manager doesn't even matter in football anymore. And we touched base on this earlier in the show when I said that elite personality manager that takes you on a journey. I think that's slowly but surely drifting away. But what do you think? Why are managers basically sacking themselves?
Yeah, I think it's some of the stuff you just said there. I think I could chuck Nuno in there a little bit as well with Nottingham Forest. I know that was a little bit different, but it kind of was that sort of falling out with the owner, the board, you name it. I always forget his name. The big guy that comes on the pitch a lot of the time, Sir Forest, and
Oh, yeah,
dictates.
Marinakis,
Yeah, is
the
the
owner.
one that put pressure on Gibbs White and stopped
That's
him
so good, man. That was box
moving.
office as well, man. That was
It's like
absolutely brilliant. He's just
it just
basically
turned
this
into a
new
little
guy,
bitch
nowhere,
in
mate.
his yeah.
Crazy,
So
yeah.
yeah, so that was a little bit. I mean, there was something said about Emery, and he said something not quite on this level, but
Yeah.
sort of murmurings. But yeah, I think it's like you've just said there. I think it's just that tug of war between the coach or the manager, whatever you want to call them,
Yeah.
and the sporting director. And I think that's where it's going here, where the sporting director's got one idea and the coach has got a different, or the manager's got a different. And I just think they're getting to a point now where I don't know what the sort of motivation was for Maresca doing it. But you could almost say Ronaldo started this. I know he's not a manager, but him coming out, doing his interview, and was allowed to then leave Manchester United. It's almost like, well, I want a bit of that. But joking aside, going back to the managers, I think Maresca's obviously got a tug of war with their owners, and obviously Clear Lake and whoever else is involved. I can't remember now, Bowley and what have you. They see themselves as shrewd operators, and they've got a vision, and they've not. He will say that he wasn't backed in regards to the sort of players he wanted. It was all about youth and doing that moneyball tactic. So he's obviously fallen out there, and I think it's a bit of, if I speak out, they'll have no opportunity or no alternative but to sack me, because I think did Conte do it at Spurs as well? So
yeah, Conte's a madman, right?
but he's different though. He's different.
Yeah,
but I
listen,
think
a lot of managers have done it. Even
yeah.
Ange started speaking out towards the end a
Yeah,
little
but it
bit,
just
right?
feel like there's something going on though, doesn't there? More
But
recently in
yeah, I
this
think
particular season.
yeah, where I'm gearing this question towards and how we're going to finish the show, and the chat, whoever's left can kind of contribute. Um, Are you very much on the train of, yes, the director of football should be in charge of transfers predominantly. The director of football should be setting the tone in regards to how the team wants to play and the philosophy of the club? Or are you very much old school where a Fergie, a Klopp, a Pep, yeah, a Conte, a Jose Mourinho, that big
Mm.
personality manager comes in, galvanizes you can see what fence I'm on,
Mm.
galvanizes the crowd, galvanizes the fan base, galvanizes the player. He becomes the club.
Yeah, I think
I think that's going extinct. But which one do you
yeah, of course
prefer?
it is. I think overall, because I've seen both now, and I don't think we've done the sporting director thing to the best of
Properly.
our ability
Yeah.
though, because obviously Arsenal would say Edu was rubbish anyway, but he got things right towards the end. And I think it's when the owner's son started getting involved, he actually streamlined things and sort of made things a little better at Arsenal. I think like City, I think they get it right in the sense that Pep's Pep
Yeah.
into. So I think
Yeah.
he will probably just lean on a sporting director just to say, yeah, I think this player's good, blah, blah, blah. And they go off and do the job. So I think they've got it right there. I think if you get it right with the sporting director and he stays in his lane, the coach stays in his lane, and they get along, it can work. But for me, I think overall, because we've tried both, and I just don't think we've got the sporting director thing right with Murta and what have you in the past. And Ed Woodward thought he was a sporting director. I had no clue. I think you'll never get another Fergie, but I just think having that dominant figure that decides what players he thinks fits his team best, I think overall that's the direction I'd go. Now, I'm not saying not have a sporting director at all. I'm saying that sporting director has his team and he deals with the scouts and he deals with setting. So before the coach walks through the door, he sets the philosophy and says, I want this. So if Wilcox says, I want United DNA, then you go and look for a coach that will provide you United DNA. When the coach comes in, you work with the coach and allow him to get the players that he feels is going to provide you with that United DNA. And that's how I kind of see it, really, because if that coach doesn't do well, I still think it's important to have football men at the top that make footballing decisions and it brings in the right coach next. Or if that coach retires, let's say, you bring in the next person and they do all the planning. So, like, really quickly, like Brighton, I feel that
they
like Johnny
seem to
Bloom and stuff
recycle.
like that. They've got something in play there. I know they're a completely different team and they're a tier below. I get that, but they've got succession plans. They know the style of play that they want to play, and they get it right. Tottenham's not got it right. We've not got it right, and I think we just need to go back to that dominant figure that makes most of the decisions, but has a little bit of support from the scouting network, the sporting director, and what have you. That's how I see it. So it's a bit of a blend, but more of the coach having sort of like the final say. Because end of the day, just really quickly, if you buy Amorim when he was there, a Sesko, does he play him? No, he plays Mount instead.
Yeah.
So this is the problem you get for me.
This is the problem you get, and then these managers have an excuse to throw their toys out of the pram, even when they're not getting.
It's not my player. I didn't sign him. Yeah.
They're not failing on their sword. That's how they're feeling. And that's why I think a lot of these managers are throwing in the towel.
Yeah.
Right? Whether you think it's right or wrong, like
clash of egos, that's the thing.
I've been a personal trainer for years, right? And I do fitness retreats 4 to 5 times a year. Listen, I do okay for myself, but I've always wanted my own gym, right?
Yeah.
But to open my own gym, you need a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
So majority of the people that open their own gyms have an investor. Yeah. Now, I've thought about exploring that, but here's the truth. I want to open my own gym and call the shots my way.
Yeah.
If I fail and my gym fails, it's because I got it wrong.
Yeah.
I don't want to open my own gym where an investor, listen, you can get great investors, silent investors, investors that trust you, trust what you bring. You get my point here. But if I had an investor that was telling me, no, Dave, I don't really like the fact that wall's black, or actually, I think you should put the dumbbell's over there rather than over here. Do you understand what I mean, Dan?
Yeah.
These are the conversations sometimes that these managers are having with the directors of football. You know,
Yeah.
I don't really want Sesko. No, I want a believer, as an example, right?
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I think if I was these managers and my investor and I saw my gym was failing, right, I'd also be like, do you know what? This ain't on me. It's an easy way to cop out and be like, it's not on me. And that's why I've never taken that option. So I get it. I get why these managers have all been like, I've had enough. Like, I don't want to tarnish my reputation anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to be stressed anymore. It's a very tough one. I think the director of football has been given in recent years big, like, what's the word? Publicity responsibility is not the right word, but I feel like they're a massive part of the club now. And before, I ain't gonna lie, I don't know about you, when I was supporting Man United in the Fergie days, I didn't even know what a director of football was.
But we shouldn't know who it is, really.
That's it.
It should all
It's like
all be
everywhere
about the
now.
coach. Yeah.
It's like everywhere now. We know who the director of football is.
Yeah.
Like, big deal, Dan Ashworth. Who the fuck is Dan Ashworth?
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
now there's all these director of football names. Edu, Berta. Like, when I was growing up watching football, I didn't know the fuck the directors of football were at clubs. Didn't fucking matter. We only knew about David Gill towards the end because
Well, suppose they didn't really
retire.
exist. Well, they didn't really exist because even like with Gill, he was more a chief exec. He didn't really exist. You had, especially in our old setup, it were very basic. You had your chief exec, you had all the people that did all the other stuff in the background, marketing and sponsorships, but running the day to day, that was Fergie.
I think I'm going to.
And he had some scouts.
I'm going to finish it with here. I think the director of football model can work for some clubs, like a Brighton, like you say, trying to stay in the Premier League, trying to recycle transfers. Their scouting department, director, football manager, all seem to be on one page. But at a bigger club with massive expectations, of course it can work, but it has to be a blend. But I just do not like the way the director of football is becoming such a prominent figure in football. I don't like it. I like the old school manager.
But hence why you've got the clashes and the speaking out against the board, because they're showing that frustration, saying he won't listen to me or they won't listen to me. So the only alternative is for me to get sacked or I walk or whatever it may be. And I feel let down. That's what Glasner's saying. Maresca's saying he's not getting back to whatever else he was saying. You're not giving me the
Amorim saying he's Amorim saying
he's telling me which formation to play.
He's a coach,
exactly.
not a manager. So, it's a weird one, and it's something just to keep the eye on, viewers, because I feel like football's going in a funny direction when it comes to these directors of footballs and managers. I feel like
they just need to stay silent.
They're constantly having a tug for who's the boss and who's calling the shots, and I think it's to the detriment of the model. But some people have been so successful. I think Bayern Munich are a big deal with directors of football. But I mean, you can't always take things from other leagues and bring it here.
No.
But anyway, look, I'm here yelling about Luis Enrique, and he's got a director of football, right? So it's a weird one. Anyway, Dan, it's been a great show once again.
Definitely.
It's been emotional in the emotion room. Thanks for being here as always, mate. Thanks for supporting me on this channel.
Me again. Yep.
Mate, you're great to have here, and I hope the viewers are enjoying our Monday show. We always try to get maybe one more in the week, but if we can't, we can't. We're always here on a Monday. So please keep coming back here and supporting. As I always say, please go and subscribe to Dan Talks United. As you've seen, he's amazing, got so much knowledge on the game, and he's passionate. That's why he's part of the emotion room. Thanks to everyone that's commented. We got Michael with a final comment. Klopp want Brandt, but the director of football got him Salah instead, and we saw how it went. Like I said at the beginning, it's all well and good, but when the manager's successful, he can call it. Yeah, I mean that is a big part of it. If Amorim had got better results, it wouldn't have ended up this way. And Wilcox wouldn't have got as far involved. So, you're right. You're right, Michael. You're right, Dan, as well. There's so much context to this relationship as director of football and manager. Thanks again, SJG1414. And thanks for that, Michael, for subscribing to Dan. He appreciates it and I appreciate it. Guys, it's been emotional in the emotion room. We shall catch you on the next one, and hopefully we smash Arsenal, absolutely smash Arsenal, and derail their title hopes. Catch you on the next one,
Definitely.
crew.
See you later,
Bye.
people.
Yes.